tell us a bit about how you saw your career after graduating high school. What were your plans? What did you want to do with your life from that point on?
I was on the mood that do not go to work. Really, do what you want, what you care about, work hard for yourself, create, improve, innovate, but do not work for somebody else. So I started my first business then, and I tried to calibrate myself how much effort I was willing to put in it. And yeah, I worked a lot, and I'm still working like 3 corporate guys at once, but it's my decision, and I know what I do it for.
Do you remember when you first came into contact with startups or with this concept of a startup founders?
Yeah.
And what did you think at that point?
Yeah, we're speaking history here. It's about 10 years, around 2013. Yeah, that was after 10 years of entrepreneurship on my side. But in this period, 2013, 2014, a lot of things changed for me, and perhaps for the whole environment. But for me, as a personal experience, then I had my very own first personal startup. That's when I invested first time in a startup. That's when I learned what acceleration is. And I also started working in acceleration. So a lot of things happened 10 years ago. It was like the spark.
Talking about the spark, in your view, what were some of the most important moments and events that led to the creation of what we are calling now the Romanian startup ecosystem? When do you think that was this spark?
10 years ago, that was the spark, but I don't see a specific spark. It was a mixture. Maybe there were this momentum with a lot of good stories from abroad. The idea that people might get somehow invested, they can get funded. And there were a lot of people coming up with new solutions because especially the tech guys were exposed to the new technologies and trends. For instance, myself, I had this, one of my first companies, Growlsoft in software, and I was working back then, I'm still working now, but back then I was working for tech giants. And I was aware of all their new products and technologies and about many of their plans. It was transparent, I know about those things. And we supported companies like Google or Microsoft with services related to machine learning or AI or automation. This was extremely new concepts for the market. And these kind of guys, because there were a lot of guys like us working for those tech giants and aware of the trends, they were really close to the next hot topic. So with some ingenuity, some entrepreneurial spirit, some of them came up with a startup. Personally, I was somehow driven to contribute to the ecosystem because I had these extensive connections with the Western startup world, being trained into entrepreneurship in Vienna, in Silicon Valley, in startups acceleration. So I felt more like not a need, but a mission to get involved and to bring the knowledge I gathered directly from the source, from the best.
You mentioned that you got acquainted also with the concept of investing, angel investing, while also getting into contact with startups, 2013. Tell us more about what made you decide to invest in other founders. Why did you decide to help them?
Honestly, I got acquainted with the concept of angel investing after I invested. No, an old friend asked for money, advice, and a bit of involvement into his venture. And I said, yes, of course. It was not high-tech, it was about vegetables. But we built the first and the best organic farming business in Romania, introducing new concepts like from farm to fork, an online shop. We used crowdfunding, delivery centers, and a new way of marketing that and communication that is actually now very fresh and used by every major player in the field of organic food. It was really game-changing. Thus, I saw the actual importance and the impact an angel can have in a business. And I enjoy it a lot, and that was my starting point.
Tell us a bit about how the investment ecosystem was back then. What were the opportunities for startup founders?
There was limited capital. The potential of startup was great, and what excited me the most was the urge to solve real world problems. This is what attracted me, but they were a bit unprepared. Anyway, what can I say? It's the same now. It's limited capital, they have great potential, but still the startups are underprepared. And it's a great issue. It's really a great issue. Unfortunately, I see personally, I work with dozens of underprepared entrepreneurs wanted to start on their own. And after years of effort and all personal savings spent, they still couldn't understand why is it not working. Because they are not prepared. If you're prepared, you can learn a lot from failures. You can fail and come back more powerful and even better prepared. If you're not, you just lose.
Tell us a bit about Open Connect and what happened there.
Open Connect was, again, a great story of community, of collaboration that started 10 years ago. It was built by Dragoș Roa, an old friend of ours. It was a community of 5,000 people gathering weekly, I think, and they spoke about business and they were networking and they tried to collaborate. They were all interested in entrepreneurship. And these people decided once that they would rather have a place of their own to meet and to work there. So in 2014, along Dragoș Roa, Dragoș Nicolaescu, I built Connect Hub, the first Romanian, purely Romanian co-working space here. The business lasted for several years, and it's in the same place the Maastricht School of Management is now. So we open a new place for entrepreneurship. It was great. I remember I also have pictures with all the relevant investors and entrepreneurs of the time being present there at our events, involved with our community. It was a great thing.
So TechAngels, did it already exist when you first joined? And how did you guys come together? How did you angels come together in this
Yes,
organization?
It existed. Created by Bogdan Iordache, Radu Georgescu, Andrei Pitiș. I joined it in 2014, the same year. There were 14 members, I think, at the time. It was a romantic period. We were few, but it was very nice. Now we are 140. I became vice president there in 2017 and recently re-elected, and we are now on speed. We're expanding in terms of startups that we see and hopefully investments that we make.
And talking about investments and that period with the first years you've joined TechAngels, how much money did you invest at first, and what were the amounts that angels committed at that point, and how did it grow? How did they evolve during all this time?
It's a bit counterintuitive, you know. My initial investments were larger, and not only mine, because I was unaware of staged investing and about following a specific roadmap with specific milestones and subsequent financing for each of them. Over the time, I became more professional. Over time, I understood how to get other people's money involved in someone else's venture, how to get money from other funding sources. Step by step, I discovered how to evolve into a venture capitalist. And after 1 year of running Smart Impact Capital, the micro VC I founded, I joined forces and became a general partner in the largest privately held Romanian VC firm.
So you also evolved with with the startup founders that were coming to you guys?
Yeah, for sure. About 20 as a business angel and about 40 through venture capital. To get it right, business angels are individuals investing their own money into small amounts in early stage ventures, while venture capital is investing other people's money in a professional manner, creating a portfolio, balanced portfolio, and managing that portfolio and its growth. And I supported the companies in diverse areas because my experience, my background is not focused on one specific vertical, but all over the business, in finance especially. So I supported like startups like iFactor in fintech, and we fund them together with Startup Wise Guys and Cedars. AutoVantage in automotive, which I helped raise. I helped them raise money from Filrush Capital in Croatia. Sanopas in eHealth, who recently had their exit. The well-known Kinderpedia. Bonap in food waste, who recently got investment from Seedblink. And Seedblink itself,
This brings us to the Commons Excel part of your life. Tell us more about the decision to found such a program, and why did you feel that there is a need for what Commons Excel brings to the market for startup founders or wannabe startup founders?
There's a huge need to be prepared into this world. There are a lot of money out there, a lot of investors, and they want to give startups their money, but the startups have to be prepared in order to get that money. I built this first acceleration program of my own after 6 years of international experience in acceleration and investment. I wanted to help startups, and through this to help the entire ecosystem. And you can do it by force, to help people by force. It has to be needed, and it's actually highly needed here. And you have to like it. And my God, I enjoy. It's the best hobby I ever have, to work with startups. And you have to know about it. And I think I have at least a 360 view about this as an entrepreneur, acceleration, investments. In business, I know what it takes to get your company off the ground, and I've done it myself. And through the startups, I never speak bullshit. I never quote from books. I'm speaking just my first-hand experience. On the other side, as an investor, I am an angel. I'm a venture capitalist. I was in a dozen deals, from syndicated deals with new angels to international deals with huge foreign funds. Moreover, I have to mention this, since 2020, and it's a great influence for our ecosystem, I was in the EIC jury, this European Innovation Council of European Commission, and with the guys that are deciding where the billions of EU funds are going, actually billions, to the innovative startups. So hundreds of European startups were funded from EIC. Unfortunately, only 2 from Romania were. Fortunately, one of them, Cell, is one of my investments. So I know where the money is and how to get them. It's just the startups have to be prepared to take the money. And in acceleration, what I experienced in acceleration is unparalleled. I mean, in the Investment Ready program, since 2013, we built an acceleration program in 17 countries, starting from Vienna. I also did the Founder Institute, and I graduated Leading Academy. This is how they are calling the leaders, the ones that are creating local accelerators. So I did and graduated this Leading Academy in Silicon Valley. And that's where I learned a lot about how to build acceleration programs. And also EIC, which is actually an accelerator, brought me this global state-of-the-art understanding about the acceleration and about how to really help a startup. That's why And that's the reason Commons Excel exists, because I have all this because we're speaking history here. Let me put it into this perspective. I founded this non-profit IDEA, the Institutul de Excelență în Antreprenoriat, in 2019. And Commons Excel was its first program. And this is based, like I said, on everything I accumulated throughout the years, from learning design to a great investor network. Then we did programs for universities, even for the music university I told you earlier about this postgraduate program. We did programs for cybersecurity or defense or e-commerce, regional programs, and corporate ones, of course. And these programs under IDEA are essential. They are not just offering resources. They build an ecosystem, and the whole ecosystem fostering innovation, mentorship, collaboration. We have a community of over 300 people actually collaborating as we speak among themselves. We encourage this collaboration. We have 100 mentors and a lot of investors. And again, I'm not bullshitting when I'm speaking about a lot of investors. They're not just a list of emails. They're real people. Hundreds of investors and representative of VCs. Some people that I know, some people I can call friends, people I had deals with, or at least a couple of beers, you know. They really want to invest. I told you that. But startups have to be prepared in order to fit their requirements. That's why we do acceleration programs, and we really help a lot of people getting millions. But that's not the only goal of the acceleration programs. It's also about building the right product, selling it, growing the business. What's specific, coming back to your question, what's specific for Commons Excel and other programs of ours is that we know that what we are doing is not enough. So we offer resources and business services and post-graduation support for at least 1 year.
How important do you think that it is to have programs that are developed specifically for the needs of the founders or wannabe founders that are in the ideation phase of their startups, or even before they have an MVP?
The ideation phase is vital, it's delicate. But with the right support, raw ideas can transform into game-changing solution, you know. Everybody would like to cherry pick, but you cannot do it unless someone is planting those cherry trees. And here was a Greenland with nothing. So obviously, different actors need to be specialized over time, you know. But some has to handle the international expansion, others have to handle early stage education. And it's not about discovering startups. I have this issue when working with the regional agencies and trying to scout the startups in the area. There are no startups in many areas. So it's about inspiring people and showing them possibilities so they might consider in the future taking the path of entrepreneurship. It's about just planting those seeds and wait patiently.
Speaking about planting the seeds and waiting, I know that you are preparing to close the applications for your 9th cohort of the program. And tell us a bit about how the program evolved during these years. How did you see the level of the startups, of the founders that went through Commons Excel by now, and I don't know, their dedication, their pitches? How did it change during this?
It's changed a lot, and this is programmed, you know. I mean, old Darwin said that if we don't evolve, we are left behind. So we are evolving, we update, upgrade, and implement feedback from one cohort to the next. So we're starting the 9th cohort now, in a few weeks, in 2 weeks. Historically, In 2019, we have a shy pilot cohort with 10 participants and 20 mentors and a few investors. But we were overwhelmed by registration. So our first cohort was supplemented to 25 people. Soon mentors started to register. They wanted to help, give back, to get involved. And they're great. And with a diverse, extensive background like multinational CEOs or successful startups that had an exit, bankers or sales experts. So startup can pick anything they need. It also evolved in terms of investors. Since last year, we kind of communicate that in our demo days, you can basically meet anyone relevant from Romania in the investment field. Moreover, since last year, we partnered with Startup Wise Guys from Estonia and with Filrush Capital from Croatia, and we are planning to expand those collaboration. As I told you earlier, we managed to put some startups of ours in touch with those guys, and they get investments. And speaking about evolution, we were also regional finalist at Central European Startup Awards, and that was a great recognition because we were in the category of Best Acceleration Program. And what can I say? The team is important. It's more and more prepared. It's from this year, I can say that 100% of our team is made out of people that has a business or a startup of their own. They know how to help. And our learning design and curricula are always up to date, updating.
How do you perceive the speed of creation for new startups in the Romanian market? Is the rhythm as the same as before, or taking into consideration what happened since last year and this year with less investments, it's slowing down a bit?
Yeah, there were less investments, but the pace is increasing, but not it's not accelerating, but increasing. I know that it's mostly about inspiring people to follow this path. And it's also about people that are starting after a good exit or after failure, because they can also start,
Let's talk about another important chapter in your life, the Investment Ready program. And tell us, please, how is the Romanian startup ecosystem seen from outside Romania, from Wien? What are our challenges when comparing to Western Europe, per se, or our weak spots, or I don't know, maybe even our strengths as an ecosystem?
Okay. So my experience with investment and acceleration started from Vienna, not from Bucharest. So I'm kind of used to see things here from abroad, from a different perspective. And in Europe, the first acceleration program ever was Startup Wise Guys. And it's the first acceleration program, and it started in 2012. So it's very, very young, this ecosystem. But in 2013, Investment Ready program started. So it was also very, very fresh. And I joined this program in 2013. What can I say? I never said that it's the first time. There was a place where I learned from the best. My mentors and the ones who actually helped the program develop, were Charlie and Lisa Kleisner. And these guys are billionaires, philanthropists, committed to social and impact and climate impact. And their background is impressive. I mean, she worked for Google early stage Google, and he worked with Steve Jobs. They had startup together. They built a company that was listed on NASDAQ and was sold in about the dot-com bubble. So these are the kind of stories you want to hear when you are forming yourself as an entrepreneur or investors, and that's the kind of info and the insights you need to actually have a great perspective of everything that's happening in this area. So this program, we started small, became the largest impact acceleration program in the region, operating in 17 countries. And its demo day was a small gathering, and the edition of 2013 evolved into Impact Days, great conference, the largest impact investment conference in Central and Eastern Europe, taking place in Hofburg Palace in Vienna. And this is the flagship event of the impact investment industry. So for me, it was the beginning of my journey in acceleration. After that, I started building my own programs. So back then, here the term of acceleration had no meaning, you know. But also, there are a lot of things that we discovered on the way, and a lot of things that we are missing even from our mindset. We know how to build products. If you are instructed how to build products, we have... I don't want to speak about problems. Many of us know about the problems, about our inability to sell, about our inability to find the actual problem of the customer and to build products accordingly to solve that customer needs. But anyway, we have good things also, and maybe secret ingredients. Maybe it's the ability to innovate under constraints as Eastern Europeans. Maybe it's the tech talent of Romania. And maybe if we get something, a mixture between our specific Romanian rush of getting rich overnight and the principles of lean startup with building and failing fast and learning, maybe it's a good thing.
What annoys you when it comes to startup founders and even investors in Romania? What should we erase from the way we think about doing business here?
So the startups have some recurring patterns that are holding them back. One is their dreams of overnight success. I was just speaking about it. But this goes without the realizing the need for preparation, and also the necessity of 100% commitment in business execution. Also, this is the comparison they're making a lot with the models from the West. They see on the media how much funding did that startup get, and look at that valuation. But they're considering less what they're actually doing, what their team is, what their addressable market is, what their current traction. And also, it's about what are they building. They mostly build what's trendy or what they know, because they're trained into a specific area, and they build what they know or what they like. But they seldom consider the fundamental needs of the customer and whether the solution is efficient and solve the customer problem. So this customer focus is lacking. The self-awareness in terms of preparation is lacking, and the things with comparing themselves with the others. As for the investors are annoying. You know what? It's frustrating. Many startup investors meeting don't have fruitful outcomes. It's just like 1%. Because startups are underprepared. That's a fact, you know. But also investors need to understand that not all startups are ready to go profitable companies, and you know, they should be open to guiding them, even without immediate financial commitment. If experienced investors are willing to mentor newcomers and forge strong relationships, they can eventually foster a healthier investment environment here. So better interactions between them leads to deeper connections and reliability. You're afraid to invest because you don't trust the one in front of you. So most of the time, they don't invest. And this is the reason, you know? Or sometimes they take a leap of faith because the business is too good, but they are still afraid. So they should take time to know each other, to discover each other. It's like a marriage.
So they need to be patient, more patient. What do you think that's next for the ecosystem in Romania? Where are we heading, let's say, for the next 5 to 10 years?
Maybe, hopefully, in a central hub for startups in Eastern Europe. We have strong competition, you know. Even Bulgaria and Hungary are more developed in terms of funding, but maybe they lack talent.
After all these years as an entrepreneur and as an investor, in your view, what is an entrepreneur? How would you define an entrepreneur now?
I'm running in circles when speaking about identifying problems, because this entrepreneur is someone who identifies real problems and also the one who finds the solution for those problems. It's not only that, it's a person eager to work relentlessly and to learn, because you have to build something without a recipe. Always a startup should be something new, original, and you have to fail and learn from your mistake, and learn cheap, learn fast, and continue to build. And they also have to collaborate and be empathetic, because you need a team and you need clients, and these are fundamental skills. It's not enough to be a tech guy building the best product if you cannot collaborate with your team and if you are not able to sell to anyone.
Cool. Did we miss something? What else should we know about the Romanian startup ecosystem?
Sure. I believe in the entrepreneurial spirit of Romanians. However, I should stress out again and again that startups should prepare themselves, join acceleration programs, except they cannot run a business solely based by enthusiasm. And regarding investments, they have to show responsibility towards investors and to view investment not as a price, but more like a responsible business partnership. So what can I say? It's an exciting time for our ecosystem. I don't wait to see what the future holds. I'm trying to create it.